Welcome to the Emotionally Baked podcast, where emotions and baking are the two most perfect ingredients. Hello and welcome back to the Emotionally Baked podcast, where we bake something yummy, all while talking about our emotions and, just dealing with what's coming at us right now. And thank you for joining me today. Today's title is Too Much and Marshmallow Fluff Cheesecake. I'm not quite sure how this is going to turn out. I'll be honest with you. I found this recipe as I was scrolling through my Pinterest, and I did not, I looked at the ingredients. I thought, okay, that would be easy to do. It sounds yummy. I took a screenshot of quickly of the ingredients and how to do it, and then I completely didn't pin it, and I'm gonna try to find it again, but I didn't pin it, and so I feel like I'm winging it today, which kind of goes along with what may or may not go along with what we're talking about. But what I can remember and what I screenshotted, because I think I just screenshotted how to make it, so I didn't even screenshot all of the ingredients. So, it is a basic graham cracker crust recipe for a pie, cheesecake, and that would just be graham crackers, a little sugar, and melted butter, and blending it. And then the inside is going to be a marshmallow fluff, a container of Cool Whip or whip topping, whatever you got, and a stick of cream cheese and a little vanilla. I believe that's what the ingredients are. We're going to try to see if it comes out okay. So here we go. All right, so today I just got a cup of water. It's been a long day already. Kids are back in school, so I probably should have coffee in here. But we're just doing water for now. So, too much. Now, I put the 2 in parentheses because I wanted it to be like much. And marshmallow, you know me and my letters. But anyways, what is too much, and why did I want to talk about it? It was a conversation that actually sprung up on a walk. I take usual nightly walks with my husband, and it was a conversation that sprung up, and I just wanted to talk about it with him, and I realizing how much I was thinking about it. And then something happened today which kind of solidified probably should talk about it. So if you have known me for a little bit, known me for any amount of time, if you've just followed me here on Instagram or on whatever, YouTube or Spotify, you know, or I hope you know, or I don't know, you may or may not, I'm an outgoing person, and sometimes my outgoingness can be a little too much for people. I like to laugh, and when I think something's funny or something strikes me in a little bit of a way, I will cackle, giggle, laugh, make a noise. Like, I am a little, some people have called me too much in my life. Just for the way I am. Like, I'm just a little, I'll kind of just like blurt out something or, say something just a little exuberantly than anybody else, and they might consider me a little too much. So today I was out with a girlfriend and her family with my son. It was first day of school, and we went to eat a little something. We were at a restaurant. We were chatting, and she just mentioned something, and I made this like, oh my goodness, like I made this little sound that wasn't that little. It was a little loud, and I scared a waiter who was probably about 10 feet away from me. He kind of jumped and turned around and asked me if I was okay. And I just burst out giggling and laughing. And then he smiled, and then he kind of just, you know, shrugged his shoulders and kind of walked away. I don't think I offended him in any way or anything. I hope I didn't. But in that moment, it kind of made me like think, am I too much? Am I too much? Even at 44, am I too much? Okay, so we're going to keep talking about that, and we're going to get started on our crust first. Now, I already have graham crackers and sugar in my container, and I already have, this is my blender, and I'm going to put the melted butter in here. I'm going to blend it up and come back because we don't want to hear that. That's a little noisy. Okay, I blended the graham crackers until they were crumbs with the butter and a little sugar. I'm just going to scoop this right down into a pie dish. And I'm not going to bake this one. Sometimes you bake them just to make, you know, for like 5 or 10 minutes just to make sure that it, but this is going to be kind of like a frozen dessert with the stuff I'm going to put on it. So I think after I put it into the freezer, it will set up fine. And there's nothing in here that needs to be baked, so it will set up fine. And you can either press it down with a spatula or the back of a measuring cup just to kind of get it all in there. I'm just using a regular pie dish. Didn't need anything too large. So I'm just gonna scoot this around, just pat it down. And there we go. So the subject came up, if I was too much, with my husband, because I have been thinking about just in my life when I've had in my professional career, and I don't so much think of it in my, you know, sometimes maybe, I don't know, I have to ask my friends, am I too much? Sometimes I have felt in some friend groups that I'm a little much. I have at times. Speaking of my laughter and the things that I could outburst a little bit, I was out with some friends way back, a long time ago. I was out with some friends, and I was at we were doing just an outing, and it was like a chocolate place, and we were making chocolate, and you know, I was maybe a little too much. The lady was very nice at the chocolate place, and I laughed a lot while I was there, had this, you know, and I have a very distinguishable laugh. And I went back to this chocolate place, maybe it wasn't right away, it was like a couple months later. And I guess whoever I was with, I laughed. The lady turned around and said, "I remember you." I remember that laugh, and I wasn't embarrassed, but yet part of me felt bad because I was like, am I too much? Like, am I too much for people? Like, should I, you know, be quiet or not have this, you know, laugh all the time, or, you know, or do I draw too much attention? I don't know. So, I mean, she was very sweet. She wasn't upset or anything. It was just, you know, I remember you. And I felt kind of, you know, like, well, no, I hope it was good that you remember me. But yeah, so yeah, it's hard sometimes when you have certain aspects of your personality that might be too much for people. So, all right, the crust is done. I'm just going to set it aside. And today I am not using my favorite bowl. I'm using a bowl that is okay. I don't like using the mixer paddle thingies with my hand mixer in that glass bowl. So I'm going to be using this nice big mixing bowl. I already have my cream cheese in there, and it did say to whip the cream cheese. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to whip the cream cheese. I'm going to whip it with a little vanilla. Now, be honest, I did not see how much vanilla. I'm assuming it's only like a teaspoon, because usually I think I only have like one recipe that has more than a teaspoon. It might be like one or two that have like maybe two teaspoons. There's one recipe that I think it's sugar cookies or some type of cookie has two. There was like a tablespoon of vanilla or something was a lot. So I know that it shouldn't be too much. So I'm gonna go ahead and beat this up with some beaters, and then I'll come back because the rest is some mixing, and I can do that without the noise. Okay, and so continuing on our topic, I'm just gonna be mixing in this marshmallow cream, and then after that, the whipped topping. So as we talk. So like I said, I wasn't sure if, my friend groups ever thought I was too much. I could be, maybe. I don't know. I should ask. But in my jobs that I've had, so I have, since I was, after I had, I'll start after I had kids. After I had kids, I became a teacher, and first I was a paraprofessional, just doing teacher's assisting, but then I did art, and I started teaching art, which I really found my joy in. I found a lot of joy in teaching my art classes. And teaching art just became like a real love for me, a real joy for me. And I really kind of attached to that like weird art teacher type of thing. Or like the fun, quirky art teacher, because it was just really my personality. Like I just loved it. It was joyous. This is kind of hard and sticky to mix. This is the cream cheese and the marshmallow. It's like I'm feeling like I'm using all my muscles to stir this in together. So we shall see how it goes. So yeah, and I really just kind of embraced the fun of being an art teacher. Hold on. So yeah, so that was just, anyways, I really just kind of loved like everything quirky I could be. I just kind of just did, because I felt like being an art teacher meant that I could like be kind of, pardon pun, but I could just be as colorful as I wanted to be. I could, I could dress how I wanted to dress. I could explore all the, I could explore all the accessories in my outfits, and I could, I could really let my personality shine with like how I taught my kids, and be whimsical and funny and silly and just outgoing without being kind of like, kind of like, what? Well, like what? Because normally being just like a teacher's assistant or like office jobs that I had or things, didn't really give the opportunity to be this whimsical, silly creature that I was or am. And art really did. Art really gave me that like, that opportunity to just be like, here I am and here let's go. And I will be honest, I don't think, and this is kind of where the topic, it's coming from, because I have been asked over the years after I have quit teaching, I have been asked to come back and teach at places that I had taught before and new places and things like that. And I have said no, and it's not for, it's just, I feel like I'm at a different stage in my life. Now it says to fold in the Cool Whip. If you've watched a certain show where it say fold it in. So let me show you what I think folding in means. So I put the Cool Whip. So what I think folding in means is taking your spatula, running it around the edge, and kind of just like twisting your ingredients. Kind of like, do you see how I'm doing it? Kind of flipping it over each other, so it gently, I'm not like stirring it around. I'm just kind of gently flipping it, gently kind of just bringing it into each other. Does that make sense? Just kind of going around the edges, flipping it inside out. So anyway, so, and the kind of reasoning behind saying no was just because I felt like I moved on. And I don't know if I've explained why. Like, the last time I taught was after I had a COVID school year, and I didn't, it was hard to teach art online. It was difficult, but also I was going to be a surrogate for my sister-in-law, and around that time, it wasn't a lot talked about in terms of like was getting sick. Anyways, like the whole thing. So I wanted to be really safe with the surrogacy thing, and so I really needed to limit my going back into the classroom, and it wasn't looking like it would work out. And so I decided to, take a step back, and I haven't gone back into the classroom. So yeah. And so since then I have been asked quite a bit to come back into the classroom, and a big, huge part of me saying no is I feel like some people think I'm too much. And they don't understand me as an artist, as an art teacher, as this quirky, whimsical, laughing, outgoing person. They don't understand who I am and kind of what I bring to the table. And so I was saying, I felt so I'll say that like this is the way I've kind of felt in certain places. I'm just putting this into the crust. That's all it says to do. So with one place, I felt like my administration just looked at me kind of like with like that kind of face, like, who is this person? And like where did she come from? And another administration, I think, was kind of like this, kind of like scared of me, like, oh, that's a lot. Which can be good or bad, I don't know. And another administration, I think, just went like this, rolled their eyes at me. So I think one was kind of like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, who are you? Another one was, oh no. And another one was, oh boy. Do you get the different vibes of like how people thought of me or how I felt people thought of me? Yeah. And it's kind of hard to be in a place where you don't, I think I'm confident enough that I could handle it, that I could handle people not getting me, that I was too much. But after a while, when you're not given like the reassurance that we appreciate this, we appreciate your enthusiasm, we appreciate, how you are, we appreciate this, we appreciate that, or whatever. Or at least they're not still giving you those looks. You know what I'm saying? They're not giving you the looks anymore. At least they're happy with, what you present to the table. It's easier. But yeah. So I just have always felt I'm too much for people. And sometimes I feel like I'm too much for my family, to be honest with you. My husband, we were on a walk, another one of our walks, and I was walking, and I literally was walking and talking. I was talking to him, but I was talking kind of to myself and all the things, and I was just making conversation, and I kind of just talked about something, and I just kind of start to finish and finished it all by myself, and he didn't even, he was just sitting there, and I finished, and he looks over at me, and he just bursts out laughing, and I was like, what? Is everything okay? He was like, no, it was just really funny to listen to you kind of just do the whole thing. And he wouldn't say I'm too much for him, but, sometimes I look at him like, am I too much for people? Am I too much? I don't know. And I don't know if you're one of those who feel the same way, am I too much for people? Is it, like, this is just who I am, kind of thing. Okay, so this is what it looks like. It's holding together very well. It's not like it's, yeah. So it said to put this in the freezer for 4 hours. So I'm going to put it in the freezer. We could probably have it after supper. And we'll see how it is. That's just what that's all that there was. So pretty easy. All right, so that's in the freezer now, and we're just gonna let it sit in there, do its thing, and we'll have it later, and we'll see how it is. So, yeah. I'm not going to apologize for who I am and the type of way I am and just me in general. However, with that said, I just wonder sometimes, and I don't know. I'm not going to let me rephrase. I'm not going to apologize for how I am. But I have realized over the years that there will be instances where people have dulled my shine. Administrators have dulled my shine. Other people in my life have dulled my shine because they don't understand the way I am. They don't understand the personality that I have. I'm making some tea, as I decided to make some tea. And I feel bad for that. I feel bad that I let some people through the course of my career and life make me feel bad for who I am and make me feel bad for the way that I just either react to things or come to things. Like, if there's a spirit day, I will do it. If there is a activity, I will be all in. If there is something that you want me to participate in, I am waiting to go someday to my first something ball. Like, whether it's a bookish ball or if it's a Comic-Con or if it's and I've never been, and oh my goodness, but I love to go to any type of like event type of thing. I will do it. I will make a shirt. I will get a dress. I will get an outfit. I'm all out. I will do it. I will go all in. I'm just that type of person. I will, you say it, I'll be there. Oh, me and my daughter are planning on going to a Renaissance festival this year. So I'm already starting to plan and starting to get excited about that whole thing. So yeah. Anyway. Oh my goodness. Oh, my tea sounds like it's gonna, now this tea kettle has a whistle on it. My other one didn't. However, I'm not gonna let it go to whistling because, oh, there's a little bit of one. You hear it? Anyway, so, but yeah, I try to, like, some people might think I'm just too outgoing in life or just too much in life or just too, and I'm already trying to, convince my husband. I work for my husband now, and I'm trying to convince him at work to kind of like, okay, let's do this and let's do that. And I can already see he's like, oh boy. But he knows me. He's lived with me for 24 years now. So he gets this. He understands because he knows, like, as much as like something in our house will, like an electronic will disappear because he's either sold it or he's using it at work, which actually happened recently. We literally rotated through a couple of televisions because it was either being sold or used. Just as much as he does that, I will change something in the house. I will paint something. I will add something. I will change it around. Guys, I have a pink couch now. I have a pink couch. And it's so exciting. And I love it so much. And green chairs. Pink couch. Not teal chairs. So as much as, so I am colorful in all things in life. In my personality and the things I do. So yeah. So I know I said I'm not going to apologize. I'm not going to apologize for who I am. This is who I am. I love who I am. And I think I just have to be okay with how people receive me. And I actually am looking back on it. I like the way the waiter responded. He responded with a nod and a smile. And it wasn't like a, oh, like, who are you? It was like, oh, okay. Like, she's having fun, or something made her laugh. So, yeah. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. You know, just gonna keep, this is, you know, just keep being me. And keep being you, if this is you too. All right, friends. Well, whether the salt in your recipes comes from tears or a teaspoon, just remember, we baked it out. All right, we'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.